Hello YouTube, today we have first place Ruben. He won our case tourney today with sponsored by Daily Grind, Jerry. Thank you for holding this, Jerry.
You're welcome.
And you got first place with what, Prank Kid?
Prank Kid's, I guess, one of the best decks. I wouldn't say it's by far the best deck, it's good.
Okay, alright, just show us what you played.
Alright, so first of all, best field center in the game. I can't play without this. All my boys are on it. So standard, 3 green, 3 blue, 3 red, 3 brown, and then 3 field spell. So like, obviously you play 3 of all of them, but this is like just actually the best card in the deck because it chain blocks. There's nothing more need to be said. I just wanted to draw Prank Kid. 3 of my losses today were just to not seeing Kid, so like you have to max out on it. And then like to go with the 15 starters, I played 10 extenders. So the thought process behind like Poly is like known already, that it lets you summon Toad on 5. It also lets you play through like Ash, same thing as Pandemonium. But this lets you make Toad, like, which this doesn't. And I played 2 pranks. As you'll see, I play Desires in the deck, so I don't want to banish it. But it's also a good starter. There's a lot of times where I go activate pranks, discard any Prank Kid's card, summon token, normal summon, and then start playing that way, so I can start my first play with a chain block, so that way I'm not losing to just Ash. And Instant Fusion's insane, and then Reborn also insane. Like, these cards are the nuts.
Reborn won you your...
Yeah, Reborn won me the finals. I think I resolved Instant Fusion once. It wasn't necessary, but it was just crazy. Then for the like, I guess this is where the deck gets like different than everyone else's. So like my hand trap choice for just 3 Veiler, 3 Ash, and 3 Gamma, and then Driver.
Okay.
So I didn't choose to play a lot of hand traps because I think this deck with the extenders can play very well going second. But it doesn't always play very well going second, so you do need hand traps. And I decided that Gamma's definitely the best one just overall, and then Ash and Veiler are the most generic after that you can draw off pranks and like be usable. So that's why I decided for these to be like the
so no Imperm, Droll,
No,
Bell.
so like if you play Imperm instead of Veiler and you draw it off of pranks, it's a dead card. It's like drawing a Pandemonium or a Kid. So I'd rather play cards that like I can draw them off of pranks and be live. And Gamma to an extent works that way because of Bow Wow. So like you can clear your field and then Gamma them and then Butler them. So that's why I decided on these specific ones. And then the last cards are gonna be Called By. This card's crazy. It was like anytime that card resolved, it was just insane. And then so this is pretty standard, 3 Desires. And then I only played 9 hand traps because I wanted to main deck 3 Talons. So I didn't want to lose to just like 1 hand trap. That was the purpose of like the deck. I wanted it like, you have to respond to my normal summon, but I wanted to be able to play past it, which is like the reason these help you get to your 10 extenders, which is like really important when you get ashed or to prevent you from losing to the ash. I felt like these were really good. And I wasn't able to like fit all the cards I wanted in 40, so like the deck ended up being 42, which is like fine. I really wish like I could have cut it down to 40, but there was just too many cards I wanted in the deck, like at 3 specifically. So like this was okay. Like I walked into the store with like only 2 Desires and 1 Pranks, and I was like, if I banished the 1 Pranks off Desires, because like I start with Desires, I was gonna get mad, so I was like, play a second one, and then like 41's just awkward, so I'd rather play 42.
Like the deck already has a high chance of drawing a Prank Kid,
yeah,
but you just felt like it was just gonna happen.
So like I did the math, and the percentages changed by like less than 1%, so it won't matter that much in a tournament that's like going to be less than 10 rounds for the most part, like including top cut. So I thought it would be okay to like play over 40. Obviously I'd ideally want to be at 40, maybe even 39, but there's just too many cards I want in the main deck.
Okay.
So,
alright, so that was the main deck and it was 42, right?
Yes, 42. Right. And the best tokens. And then the 3 fusions, no more, no less. All these cards are broken. Like, people don't understand, like, you don't even have to summon this card to win. You can just like win off this. Like, this card's just the nuts. Your opponent has to Zeus you. They have to like Keurig a card and like DDL a card, and then you still have 2 names on the field, so like they can't kill you, and then like you kill them on the next turn. This card's just game whenever it hits the field. And then Toad for like when you open Poly, or like when you Butler and then they like set back row and stuff, you start like making Toad as your first play. And then obviously you gotta play 3 Meow Meow. It's just the heart and soul of the deck. Like, you gotta summon this card to win the game. Then for other Prank Kid cards, 1 Bow Wow and then 3 Chicken. So like all these cards are really good. Obviously you play 3 of these because it's a searcher, and you only need 1 of this. Because if you ever need a second, you just bring it back off of Washer. That's good. And then for the generic cards, obviously Unicorn, Access Code, these are standard. And then I play Phoenix because I just like being able to like link climb up and then co-linking these is really easy in this deck. It's like just getting free draws and like pitching the useless names or like extra names, extra like desires, different things like that. This deck has a good way of making use of its dead cards because of Roxy's and like the Nightmares, and it lets you link Prime into access code really easy. And then I wanted a different fire that wasn't Bow Wow to banish off the access code, so I had like 4 names that I could banish and like not really be scared about them. And then last one, also just to respect Contact C. It won me the finals, so like the only time I summoned it, but since it won me the finals, it's definitely warranted to be there.
And you didn't play the Verti and Thunder Dragon Fusion?
No, so I didn't feel it was necessary. The Thunder Dragon Fusion's like kind of a brick, and then the Verite is technically the same as like Asa, but I just don't really think it's necessary playing those cards. Like the deck's just consistent as it is. Like I don't think I ever put myself in a situation where I'm like, oh, I really wish I had Thunder Dragon Fusion in my deck. It's cool, but it makes you also have to play 2 Butler in your deck, and it makes you more susceptible to cards like Droplets, cards like Dark Ruler, Klinglong, Kaijus, different things like that, which I didn't want to make myself susceptible to, because with this deck I like to play as Pandemonium as my last resort. I want to stop you with everything else before I flip Pandemonium, because it's like, you know it's there, so you're trying to play around Pandemonium, so it lets you play into my other disruptions.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't think it was like good to like just kill Butler to begin with. Then for the side deck, 3 Droll because we have to respect Drytron. 3 Contact Chi because this is just insane versus the Mir and Tri Brigade. Like, if you draw this and they don't have Reborn in the Mir, they can't win. Unless they open like Polly 2 Kids, then like they can start to play first, and then like they just link this off, and then they use Rocket. But at that point, like you wouldn't Contact Chi them there, and it's just really good versus Tri Brigade as well. Prevents them from getting Revolt, which is really important. And last hand trap, 3 Nib. Just overall good card. It's great versus a lot of decks and combinations with any other hand trap. Standalone, it's just alright, but I think it still deserves a spot in the main deck because people, or in the side deck, because people don't fully respect it. And if they're not respecting it, they're just gonna get blown out by it.
Okay.
And then 3 Twin. It's the only backer destruction in my deck. It's for the Mir, it's for Tri Brigade, trap decks, just trying to clear anything. Twin Twister's the best one because like anti-spell, and like you can use it during the draw phase. Imperial Order, like just quick play is really important. And then last card, 3 Judgment. Shout out to Kamal. He said play 3 Judgment because this card stops Twin Twister. So like that's what this deck sometimes just loses to.
Yeah.
I never drew the Judgment. Oh no, I drew it once, and I Judgmented a summon of a Fafnir and I didn't need to. Like, I had a hand trap for it, but it just like won me the game anyway.
Okay, that's good, because it just clears the Exceed, but yeah. Alright.
The deck was crazy. Just want to shout out, obviously, Jerry, Team Daily
Jerry,
Grind.
Daily Grind.
Shout out to Los Bozos chat. Everyone in there, they know who they are. And then my friends back at home from DN Financials.
Yeah, you came to San Antonio to play this.
Flew a long way to win a flight, honestly. But I had a lot of fun with everyone here.
Alright.
Hold it up.
Oh yeah, his trophy, yeah. Good job.
Ruben P.
Alright, thank you, Ruben, so much. Good job.